नमस्ते बेटियों, खुश रहिए। आई JVN Muskan Kumari from the Department of Science and Technology, and I'm working here as an assistant professor in JVWU Women's University and the Faculty of Science, Math, Education and Technology. Okay, so it's well known to all of you that you all are the students of the MCA second semester, and your subject course name is Networking Programming. And in this course, in which I will discuss the today's session, and the topic name is basically the Iterative Server. Clear, and just to recall one thing, just before starting this session, I have told you about the TCP/IP models, TCP/IP protocols, socket, TCP/IP socket, how to connect the TCP/IP socket, and how many functions are used in that one, how you will convert the addresses, isn't it? These are multiple topics which I have already covered in the previous session. And but now in today's session, I will discuss the iterative server, and you will know that what is the server, isn't it? And to make you easy way in understanding, I am just sharing the files which will help you to better understand. Clear? So just hold on to that. Yes, this is the files which I have told you that I will share with you to make you easily way to understand these things. Okay, so this is the files. Here I will discuss the iterative server. Before starting the iterative server, it's well known to all of you that what is the server, right? So you will know what is the server, and so let's discuss again this ones. A server process. What is this? A server process may respond to incoming connections in two different ways. Clearly, the server basically what is the working of server? The server basically do the responding to whatever the request is penetrating towards that things. Clear? So they are basically what they are responding to all the things whatever coming towards their sides. Clear? So a server process may respond to incoming the connections in two different ways. The first response pattern looks like this. The server receives incoming connection, whatever the connection incoming from different source or nodes or the systems, clear. The second, the server handles the connection. The server handles that all the connections, and the server closes the connections whenever the task is over and to be completed. He is going to be disconnect the connections, and the server returns to listening on its well-known port. Server also returns to listen on its the port. Isn't it? Port is the port number to whom systems is connected. He is trying to understanding and listening that all the connections regarding. So they are using the port. A server that operates like this called the iterative server. Isn't it? These all processes repeated in this way. So a server operates like this all 4 points. Then is known as the iterative server. Okay? So when a iterative server is handling a request, other connection to the port are blocked. Whenever server is responding to the one connection, then all other connections, who is the previous or the latter, are going to be blocked until unless the current connection is not going to be completed. Clear? So all other the ports are going to be blocked. The incoming connection must be handled, and after the another. Whenever first going to be handled clearly, and that is going to be completed, then the another connection will be going to be and over resume, and they are going to complete that connections. Clear? The task. Suppose, for example, in a system in which a telnet server is set, telnet server is set up as an iterative server, and can be handle only one incoming telnet connection at a time. Suppose in your system you have taken connections from the telnet, and telnet one, one connection is going to be completed, when the another connection is started. Okay, so they handle only one connections at a time. Now what is the iterative model? The model which supports this process iterative server is known as the iterative model. So in the iterative model, the listener and server portion of the application, the listener and server portion of the application coexist in same CICS and IMSTP and run as a part of the CICS task. Clear? It means server and listener and the server portion of the application working at the same times on the same. The server application therefore holds the socket. Server what do server? Server hold that socket until the application processing has completed. I have already told you in this iterative that it is not possible that at the same time multiple processings are done on a particular server. Clearly, so because each clients or the systems has their own program. Okay? So it's not possible to use multiple doing tasks at the same code. Okay? So TCP starts the server TP and TP starts the server TP. Another client's TP cannot access the listener or the server TP until the first client is going to be replaced. So this is the same things which I have already told you many times. Now concurrent server. Concurrent server is what? The second type of it. That is the this is the first type of the server which work at a time only one process. They performs only one process or one transaction at a time. Clear? So now a concurrent server. What is the concurrent server? Now the second type of response pattern looks like this. The server receives the incoming connection. What happening here? The server receives the incoming connection. Whatever the connection is coming towards the server, they are receiving that all the connections. The server call for function to split itself into the two portions. Then what's happening? In four person there is a one parent and another is the child. So they just try to use the core function to split that process into the multiple options like parents and a child. Okay? The child process handles the connection while the parent returns to the listen on the original port. Parent return to the original port from where they have originated, and the child process are going to do the processing or completing their connections. It handles the connection. Now, when the child process is finished, then the process is connection. With the connection, then it going to be terminated, and then the parents are going to complete their connections. Clear? So, a server that operates like this, a server which operates like this, is called concurrent server. A concurrent server is always available for incoming all the connection, whatever the connection are coming towards them. For example, a system in which tenant server is set up as a concurrent server, then they can handle the multiple tailnet connections, and each of which is managed by the different child of the listening server processes. Clear? Because we are splitting here the connections or the process whatever coming towards them, isn't it? One for the parents and another for the child, and always working on the and always the firstly work the child process connections. Clear now? uh, Here is the basic differences between the concurrent and the iterative server. Okay, so what happens in this way? The iterative server always describes the server implementation and that process one request at a time. This happens in the iterative, and the term concurrent serves the described server that handles the multiple requests at one time. Clear? So this is the basic differences made, which I have already discussed with you. Clear? So most concurrent server achieve the apparent concurrency, and we will see. You will also see that the concurrent implementation may not require concurrent application may not require. It depends on the application protocols. Whatever the protocols you are using for that application. In particular, if a server performs a small amount of processing related to the amounts of the input output it performs, it may be possible to implement the server as a single process and that use the asynchronous input output, which allow the simultaneous of the use of multiple connections. Okay, yeah? Now there is the one questions which you have to do also by your own language. What does the server handle multiple requests concurrently? Just I have told you the concurrent server, so you can easily reply about these things and do these questions PhD. Okay, the term concurrent server I am replying here and the short term. Like the term concurrent server refers to whether the server handles multiple requests concurrently, not to whether underlying implementation use multiple concurrent processes. Clear? So now, what is the TCP IP illustrated? Here is some differences also given to the called the TCP and IP illustrated. Okay, TCP and IP illustrated. So what? In general, concurrent servers are more difficult to design and build. Okay, what in general concurrent servers are very difficult to design and build because they are supporting the multiple connections at a particular time. So it's very doing the complex tasks, isn't it? And the resulting code is also become more complex and difficult to modify at that means. So it is very complicated. Most programmers choose the concurrent server implementation, but most programmers support this because why? Because this is using the context of the time because here time is taking very less and the working is done very fast. Clearly, so they are using this time. And what's happening here? The basic implementation, however, because iterative server causes necessary delay in distributed application. Whatever the applications you will use in that applications, it will in the very distributed manner. Okay. So, however, because the iterative servers cause unnecessary delay and in what happens in iterative server? In iterative server, there might be unnecessary delay and in distributed applications, and also become the performance bottleneck that affects many the client applications, like we summarize here. An iterative server implementation, which are easier to build and understand, may result in poor performance because they make clients wait for service and threads to become available. Clear? So, performance because they make client wait for service and also threads to become available. In contrast, concurrent server implementation, which are more difficult to design and build, yet had the better performance because they are taking the less amount of time to do work fastly. Clear? So there is one references to whom for this one, this line. This one is the distributed application. You can refer this from the distributed application. Also, distributed application consists of one or more local remote clients that communicate with one or more servers on the single machine linked through the network. This is very high. Like what distributed application is what? Distributed application means that you have the multiple locations and then you have the multiple systems are attached on the multiple locations and you are doing the communications between that ones. Clear? So multiple servers are also on the multiple machines linked through the network. With the help of this application, business operations can conduct from the many geographical locations. This is obvious that you can use the very geographical locations. You can also use handle your business. So this is all about your the iterative servers. What is the iterative servers? What is the concurrent servers? What is the differences between the iterative and concurrent servers? What happening in the concurrent servers? You are using one core function to split that the process into the parent and child, and always child working first instead of the parents. Clear? And in iterative process, you have already seen here the 4 points, isn't it? They are supporting only the one connections at the time. They are using only one communication at a time, particular time. But in the concurrent process, they are using the multiple connections at a time. So they are using very less time and working very fast. But the structures of the concurrent server is very hard and complicated. Clear? To maintain and modify that structures may also be very complicated. These are the things which we will consider under the forms of the concurrent and iterative server. Like, okay, and so there is a questions here for you which you have to do in your own language, at least 75 words here. And this is the does the server handle multiple requests concurrently? These questions, and this is answer which is for the hint purpose, and you have to describe this with an example clearly. So now here that TCP IP illustrated concurrent server are more complex. And how concurrent server are more complex? So to define this, we are taking the example of the TCP IP, and here this is the explanation of that one. Clear? Sure. I hope this session is very interested for you, and you have enjoyed this session. So if you have any problem regarding this session, then please give me your query and let me know what you are thinking regarding this session and this topic. Please do that in the comment section box, through which we will discuss that options with you in the next session. Okay, thank you.